Talksport.
We're looking forward to Charlie Wolf will be here at 2 o'clock.
Line 6, you're live on Talksport. Hi.
Hello?
Hello there.
Who am I speaking to, please?
This is Tommy Boyd. Who's this?
Hi, it's Jenny.
Hello, Jenny.
I don't want you to put me down, and I'm not bothered about going on the air if you don't. But I listen to the radio all the time.
Well, I explain. I need to explain. You are on the air now. We're taking calls straight through to air, Jenny. Is that all right?
Yeah, okay.
So you're on the air.
I just find you very offensive. If anybody's malevolent, I think it's yourself, you know? I find it really bad to listen to, and the language tonight, and that's happened before, and I just put in a point of view, because I do listen to the radio, I'm dependent on it.
You're dependent on it?
Yeah, sounds drastic, doesn't it? It is.
It does sound a bit drastic,
because I'm ill,
really.
That's why, and I live alone. Yeah.
Yes. Well, I'm sorry about that.
I don't need your... but thank you anyway, but I don't need that.
What's the matter with you?
I just get myself worked up when you're so offensive to people, so patronising, and you know your introduction. No, it's radio. It's to make people listen, I guess. You know your
hang on.
Your introduction,
hang on.
likening yourself to the Archangel Gabriel, for instance, and
Yeah.
I'm not bothered whether you're friends with
No.
you know, with whoever.
Well, can I ask a question?
Sure.
Can I ask you a question? You said that you're ill.
Yeah.
What's the matter with you?
Physically ill, yes, I am.
What's the matter?
I'd rather not go into that if you don't mind, but I'd rather not. I don't
Well,
want
I'm
to
sorry.
discuss my
If you're
physical health, really.
No, but
I just,
if your point is that you're a case in point, then I can't adjust a professional operation that is carefully designed to meet the interests and the needs of people who aren't a case in point, so that it suits somebody who is a case in point, which is your point, that you're a case in point.
You're confusing me.
I know.
And I
better
am
let you
actually
go.
reasonably intelligent. You know,
Well, yes, but I know. But if you want to make a point, and the point you're making is that you're ill.
No, that's not the point.
Well, then you shouldn't
that
have
was my dependence on the radio. That's why, in case you thought,
I
well,
know.
why don't you switch off?
Well, no, darling, you can switch off.
Yes,
you
I know
can't.
you can.
This is not an iron lung. It's a Ferguson radio you've got there.
Please.
You know, it's not a heart machine, is it?
No.
No.
No, it's not.
No.
I enjoy listening to the radio.
Fine. Well, if you want something,
But this evening, I've just got myself into a state and feel like I just wanted to say something about it.
That's all fine, and that's well and
Because
good.
you're using these words like malevolence, and you are the one that is harmful, not any...
No,
you know,
can
I don't want to harm you.
can I just interrupt you a second here? What you've just said, you see, I mean, this gets to me. What you've just said is deeply untrue. It's a very poor piece of analysis, and it's very unkind. Now, you're not going to endear yourself to anybody or persuade anybody. Well, I don't suppose you do.
No, I don't.
So, fine. Well, I think you better clear off.
Why do you have to speak to me like that?
Because you were very rude and unkind to me.
Was I?
Yes.
When you use a word like malevolence to... I don't know what the listenership is, but I imagine it's fairly high number of people listening, and you use a word across the board like that.
Yes, because some
And
people
I'm
call the
saying-
program, some people call the program and are malevolent.
Well,
And I don't like it. I don't approve of it. I don't think it's what people want.
and I
And
think
you're telling me, right, that I should allow malevolent people on the radio.
No, I'm not saying
Well,
that at
then,
all.
in that case, surely you support the notion of a broadcaster trying to prevent malevolence
Yes.
on the radio. Well, that's all I'm doing.
But don't do it in a way that you are doing what you're asking people not to do.
No, well, I'm not. I think you're confused, and I'm sorry about that, and I can't help. I might have been able to help if you'd been prepared to talk about... Look, this is an intimate thing, phone-in radio. And the middle of a Sunday night, it's an intimate time, it's a caring time, it's a warm time. People can share things. I like that. I think a lot of the problems in the world are caused by people who aren't able to share things, and so they just worry about whether whatever they have that is on their mind or in their heart is unique, and whether it's good or bad, whether it's right or wrong. And if we're able to discover that a lot of us, we're all in the same boat together, and we're all worried about the same things, and we're all thinking about the same things, and we're none of us sure, and we're all of us confused and frightened most of the time, well, then at least you've got a sense of camaraderie, you know? It's just nice to know that you're not alone in your lifeboat, but that we're all in the same boat. But if we go on and we're not prepared to talk about, no, I can't tell you that, no, I don't want to talk about that, no, I have special circumstances, but I'm not going to tell you what they are. It's a strange kind of rank-pulling thing, and it ain't going to get us anywhere. So you don't win any points for that. 08700 40. Is it a haiku, that?
What's a haiku?
A haiku is a Japanese poem of a set number of syllables. I can't recall any off. Oh, one is rain clouds. A welcome break from moon watching. They're not very good haikus, but they're trendy and they're short.
So that, yeah, rubbish.
Yeah, rubbish. It is rubbish. It's all rubbish.
Rubbish.
There's so much rubbish in the world, isn't there? Rubbish.
Yeah.
What a load of...
At the moment, it's bubbling over with it.
I have never... We're up to our ears in rubbish.
Yeah.
And it's all dressed up as being so blooming important, isn't it?
Exactly, exactly. It's not important.
The world is full of rubbish dressed up as being important, and the latest thing. Let's take some more calls.
More news and sport in an hour. He's planted rice in the paddy fields of Thailand. He's seen the sunrise from the summit of Mount Kilimanjaro. He's meditated within the ancient walls of Machu Picchu. He's got a Renault Turbo Sport and a TVR. He's got a huge bank balance. He could go out with any woman in the country. Arnold Schwarzenegger is a close personal friend of his family. He's been invited to the Prime Minister's house for drinks. He's the closest thing on earth to the angel Gabriel. He's Tommy Boyd.
I'm not sure whether to learn to fly or to get a speedboat.
Speedboat.
I am tempted to get a speedboat.
Flying dangerous, man. There's no danger with a little speedboat.
Can you take a speedboat across the channel? Are you allowed?
Yeah.
Well, I couldn't stop you,
Well,
I know, but I mean, is it done?
Yeah, you can do it.
When I say a speedboat, I really mean a launch.
I don't know. What's the launch? Is it?
Well, it's like a big speedboat.
Oh, yeah, they're nice, man. You get one of them, man.
I know.
Oh, yeah. Mind you don't want to be just... I suppose you mean you just want to get in there one day and just cruise to France.
I'd just love to take a speedboat. I'd like to go all the way around the coast of France, round the Bay of Biscay, down Portugal and into the Mediterranean in a speedboat. I'd happily sleep in it.
And just sort of cruise around in a speedboat.
Yeah, except I wouldn't want to be in a yacht because that looks just to me to be slow.
Yeah, they're not good. I'd rather have a motorised
I'd like to
engine.
lift the nose out of the water and create a wash.
I don't see why not. I mean, it's European, free borders and everything, and I don't see why you can't just... you got my permission if you want.
Thank you. 08700 40 50 60. I haven't finished yet, but Joe wants a word in Essex. Joe? What?
Hello. Oh, mad, isn't it? What am I... Oh, no, right, we're talking sport, right? And Essex... No, bollocks, Arsenal.
Steady.
Arsenal are going to win whatever it is. What are they going to win? I don't know.
You don't know much, do you, Joe?
No.
Really? What do you know, mate?
I don't know, darling.
Well, you rang the phone number. What?
I don't know. It's not, I'm really drunk,
Are
right?
you
And I'm laying in bed at the moment.
Better. Gets better. What are you wearing?
A little
No,
bit
don't
of
answer
smoke
that.
and that.
Oh, well, I
and
don't
we
know
thought
if you
we'd
could
bring
do
you up
anything
and
like
have
that.
a chat.
Who's we?
Me and me man.
You and your man are in bed, tiddly, and you're phoning a bloke.
Yeah. Mad, isn't it?
Yeah,
We've been
it
to
is.
a carnival today.
What carnival is that?
Malden.
The Malden Carnival.
Malden, it was brilliant. We've never been at Malden before in our life.
No.
We turned up there and there was a carnival.
Very nice. Too.
Yeah, it was lovely.
Right.
Hello. Hang on, talk to him because he's sober compared to me. Hold on.
Hello?
You were driving them, were you?
I was.
Yeah, you see.
That's not Tommy Boyd, is it?
No.
So we're not on the air?
Yeah, you are actually, and it is, yeah. I didn't know where it was going, so for a moment I hid behind the cloak of anonymity.
Oh, I can't really blame you.
No, fair enough. Look, you're in bed with your lady, it's 10 o'clock.
I know, it's early, isn't it, mate?
Have you not got any manuals? Do you not know what goes next?
Any manuals?
Yes.
I don't need a manual, Geese.
Well, you enjoy yourself then. I will let you go for the sake of romance.
Tommy, that is the dog's nuts. I've wanted to speak to James Whale for weeks and weeks. I drive a truck.
The two things do seem concomitant. I see what you're saying. I know what you're saying.
And I never get the chance to ring in. And she can't roll a fag to save her life, man.
No. All right.
Yeah.
Nice one. Dear boy.
Brilliant.
There.
Cheers.
08700 40 56. Jen on Talksport. Good evening.
Evening, Tommy. At this time of night, I usually tune in to listen to a bit of conversation, but the problem with this football thing is that it's all completely unintelligible if you don't follow the game. I don't even know what the Premiership is. I don't know what Talking Points is all about, and there's a whole string of names, and, it's enough to put you to sleep.
What do you want to talk about?
Oh, anything. Topics of the day, this and that. Just hear different views, opinions. See, the football, apart from anything else, they talk in a
Your
kind
call's the dullest one I've taken so far.
I'm sure it is. You see, I ring up to listen, generally speaking.
You
I
ring
don't
up to
phone
listen?
in. Yes, because I'm a...
What do you mean you ring up to listen?
Well, to listen to other people's conversation.
No, you mean
because
you tune
I'm
in
a
to listen?
complete bore. Yes, sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, sweetheart, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I accept I'm a complete bore, but this football business, it doesn't even make sense because
Look, darling, if you don't like football, that's just it. You don't like football.
It's not that I don't like it. I don't know anything about it. And they talk in a kind of abbreviated football speak that doesn't even make sense.
All
it
the
doesn't
same goes,
sound
well,
like
whatever
English.
you're talking about, you're dealing with interior cultures. No matter what topic of conversation you want to
I beg
raise.
your pardon?
Interior cultures.
What does interior culture
An
mean?
interior culture. Well, what do you want? What? It's got down my screen here that you want to talk about the news of the world.
I'd forgotten about that. I got mesmerised by this football thing.
You don't...
My mind sort of switched off.
What do you want me to do? People want to talk about that. What do you want me to do?
But do they want to talk about it? I mean,
Well,
there's a
obviously
few...
they want to talk about it. I've got a switchboard that's full of it apart from you. So I thought, we'll take a call that's not about football then, and then you can't talk about something except football. I mean, how stupid is that? You were the one call I thought, we'll change it. We won't talk about football anymore. On comes Jenny, says on the screen, talk about the news world policy. She drones on,
That's
about
right.
this most tedious, uninteresting...
I know,
If you don't like football, you don't like football.
My brain's atrophied listening to it.
No, it's not, my darling. Your brain is atrophied, period.
I'm sure it is, yes.
What I suggest you do is, look, I can't persuade you that there's anything in football. What I will tell you is that it is glorious.
But if you could understand
Shut
it,
up
it would
and
be
listen
all
to
right.
me. I'm talking. Well, make the effort. What I'm telling you is that it is glorious, and above all, it is harmless.
I prefer cricket.
You're not very good at conversation, are you? I suggest you try Radio 5. They're not very good at conversation either. All you do there is you get a chance to make your point, which has been vetted 12 times by a series of journalists who haven't got a clue about humanity. At least this station's flipping accessible. If anybody wants to talk about something, they can talk about it. Ludicrous thing is then somebody wants to come on, talk about something, and somebody else rings up and says they shouldn't be allowed to talk about it. But at least she gets to say that, Hopeless. 08700 40 50 60. So further to the request that we lighten the show, and bearing in mind that it's a weekend, we're friends, we can talk intimately. Our bottom's wonderful. You think about them. They're completely and utterly trouble-free. You never hear of anybody going to a doctor's because, they've got a buttock problem. They might, you know what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the muscle tissue, the gluteus maximus. Nobody ever died of a gluteus maximus injury. I refer you to Forrest Gump, the movie. And they're gorgeous. They are absolutely divine. I was watching the athletics this afternoon, and it was the women's 100 metres. And, that's all I'm saying. They are absolutely fantastic, and we can get anthropological about it if you want to, and I could refer you to the work of Desmond Morris in particular on the subject, but I won't. I'll just say that if you want to celebrate something, you can't celebrate anything that is both more harmless and yet more gratifying than the bum. 08700 40 50 60. Let's lighten up here. Sharon in Cardiff, we can hear you. Having a slight giggle to yourself.
You heard. Not much depth to this conversation either, Tom.
Don't care about depth. It's solemnity that we don't need round about now, I think.
No. Do you remember Simon?
Simon from Hampshire?
Yeah.
Well, refresh anybody's memory and enlighten those who are ignorant of Simon in Hampshire.
Well, it was such a long time ago I used to listen to you. You were on in the afternoon. What happened to you?
Got fired.
Well, I phoned it. I used to listen every afternoon, and this one day you weren't on, and then another day and another day. So I phoned up and said, where's Tommy?
It's all in the past.
Ah, there you go, but you're back on there.
Got to look to the future.
So, yeah, it used to tickle me when Simon used to phone you.
He was great, wasn't he?
He was, wasn't he?
He was fantastic.
Has he phoned in since?
No, he hasn't. He's a young man. I would guess, what age would you say? 19, 20, 21?
Yeah.
He was a student. And he was very upright.
Yeah, homophobic.
Uptight. He was like a suppository, uptight and out of sight. He was, and he was very homophobic, wasn't he?
You must get him back on.
Always going on about homosexual.
Yes, because didn't he work in a supermarket or something?
He worked
and
in
he
a
refused to serve them.
That's it. And I said to him, look, I do need to talk to you about all this, and I asked him out. He went ape. I said, what are you doing on Tuesday night? He went, how dare you? I said, no, look, I'm quite happy to meet you. You probably live quite close to me. I live on the Hampshire-Sussex border. How dare you?
We must get him back on.
I said, there must be a pub near you where people like you go. And he went, what are you implying by that? He was fantastic.
He was.
I wonder where he is now. He probably works for Conservative Central Office or something.
Well, I'll carry on listening just to see if he comes back on.
Me too.
Well, I want to listen to you as well, mate.
All right, nice to talk to you.
And you.
See ya.
Bye then.
Awesome.
Let's talk about it then.
Okay.
You sound like somebody who can have this conversation, and I'm grateful that you called. All of us, apart from people who are asexual, in other words, have no sexual drive, all of us have a sexuality. And it is one of the strongest urges we have.
Correct.
And all of us, it is my view, are given our sexuality, but I know not by what means. I don't believe that exposure to the ideas of homosexuality lead a person who might have been heterosexual to be homosexual.
Sure.
That's my own view. I think it's possible through homosexual activity that you might not have chosen to come to, it's possible that you might find it acceptable, even enjoyable.
Sure.
Or maybe the other way around. That's possible. But I think, broadly speaking, our sexuality is a very powerful drive and something that we haven't chosen. And it's also something we don't talk about hardly at all.
Would you?
Well, no, the philosopher said no man has ever done anything that he felt was wrong or bad. Because we have a process for creating self-justifications, don't we, for everything that we do. But what I thought we were going to talk about really was how much should we know? How much more is there to know? Are we equipped to deal with knowing what all the so-called normal, I guess non-heterosexual sexualities are? What kind of images are appropriate to that sexuality, and whether there will be a way in the future for us to accommodate people with eccentric sexualities, as eccentric as paedophilia. And by eccentric I mean that literally, it's outside of the concentric behaviour. Will we be able to find a way, of a socially acceptable way, of allowing them to possess that sexuality but not impose it on anybody else in any way, shape or form? Would we allow the literature that might satisfy? Would we want to find out whether the right literature or videos would satisfy whatever urges that they are cursed with? Is the world, are British people able to? I've had to listen to people phoning this show, and I've listened to other phone-ins, and I've read letters in newspapers. I'm not convinced, frankly, that the British public is equipped to let even let other people, so-called experts, make this exploration.
Obviously, the offender is in denial, but also the public are also in denial. We're coming out with extremes as much as the person that's offending is coming out with what we perceive as extremes. And we need education, first of all, is the key. I think that the government and obviously governing the police authorities need to take a lot stronger view of how they can deal with the problem, as opposed to saying, right, we're going to chuck this on the streets and we'll let the British public sort it out, because we're not capable of sorting it out.
It's one of those things that doesn't get sorted out. What happens is that gradually civilization finds a way. That's what I've seen down the centuries, down the millennia. We gradually find a way of accommodating all the eccentricities that make up humanity. To begin with, they're antisocial, they're unacceptable. They remain antisocial and unacceptable, but we find a way of somehow absorbing the strange and myriad needs of all of us. That's why football exists, to accommodate this ludicrous need that lots of men have of seeing something quasi-warlike and tribal. I'm prey to that. I mean, thank God I was born heterosexual, although there are times when it would have been useful in show business to have been homosexual, but I wouldn't have wanted anything more bizarre. Would you?
Well, if you take what's happened in the national tabloids with the naming and shaming, is I just thank heavens that they haven't got me as a mistake in that paper, and that I've got half of my neighbourhood outside throwing stones through my window. I've got nothing to hide. I'm an innocent public citizen. But the mistakes that the press make allow they're trying to get the vigilante. They're saying, right, here's a load of faces. You guys go and sort it out. We don't know how to sort out our own lives, let alone sorting out such a complex problem.
Now that, you should have that tattooed on your forehead. That is a very wise statement, what you just said. Gary, I'm grateful for your call.
No problem.
They're very wise people in Gloucestershire. I've noticed that before. Very wise. That's a very good question.
Yeah. Well,
I don't know.
Okay, well, I'll try and get into the internet and see if I can find out about Anna. I did enjoy her show. She did a magnificent show.
It was rubbish.
It wasn't rubbish.
It was rubbish. It was absolute rubbish.
No.
It was repetitive. It was balderdash.
It wasn't. It was
She said the same thing to absolutely everybody. Pull yourself together. Yeah, but she said it.
No, she did not.
Yes, she did. That was
the
all she ever
man's
said.
fault. The woman was right.
It was that. All she ever said was pull yourself together. And I did a funny trail once in which I pretended to be drunk, and she wouldn't let them play it because she said it was disgraceful. I mean, she had no sense of humour.
You did a what? Say it again.
No sense of humour.
Oh, shit.
Where was the comedy?
Nice.
Where was the laughs?
Did you ever... Well, I enjoyed it. I don't know.
Why?
Well, that makes me...
Why? Have you got loads of problems?
I'm sure no, I
Well, what were you
no.
listening for then?
Yes, of course.
You know why you listened? Because
Everybody's
you'd
got
like to know that
problems.
other people were worse off than you. That's why you listened.
Well, sometimes I listened because some of the people maybe had problems that I had, and maybe not to. Maybe theirs was much.
Well, what do you want to go there for?
Oh, I don't know. You tell me. You've got all the answers.
I have. Thank you for your call. 08700 40 50. I didn't mean any of that.
No.
I meant some of it. You can decide which bits. Or you can email Tommy at talksport.co.uk. Line 6, you're live on Talksport. Good morning.
Who's this?
My name is Tommy Boyds.
It doesn't matter what your name is, you Rudy-Pooty candy ass.
That's probably very true, actually. I mean, names are entirely fake. They're good. Hello, mate.
Hello, is that this Talk Radio, yeah?
It's Talksport. I'm Tommy Boyd, and you are?
My name's Mike. I'm calling from Finsbury Park, yeah?
Cool, you're on the air.
Right. Right, when I'm studying history at university, and there's something that baffled me throughout my studies, and that is, every time I look through the history books, for some reason they're always trying to avoid one point. Right? What is that point, I hear you ask?
Yeah.
Right?
Yes, go on.
Now, that one point is the religion of Islam. Yeah?
That's not the only thing they miss.
No, but considering...
That's the thing you noticed that they missed because you were looking for it.
No, I wasn't looking for it. I'm not a Muslim myself. It's just that it kept coming up over and over again.
No, it doesn't come up over and over again. Your point is that it doesn't come up over and over again.
No, but you don't understand, you see.
But it doesn't...
I realised that it wasn't something was missing. Every time they were avoiding one point, yeah?
No,
when I looked deeper into it, I found that the one point that they were avoiding was this religion of Islam.
What about Hinduism? Where does that crop up in history?
Sorry?
Hinduism, where does that crop up in history?
Hinduism?
Yes.
Well, Hinduism was originated in India.
Yeah, I know that, but where does it crop up in history as in Islam doesn't?
Well, forget about Hinduism. I'm talking about Islam here and how they avoided Islam.
But your point is that Islam is the only thing that doesn't crop up.
No, but I'm talking about Islam here.
I'm
not saying Islam is the only thing that it doesn't pop up. I'm saying Islam, considering it had such a drastic effect on the way society evolves in the eastern side of the world.
Look, you stay there. We'll finish this argument in a minute. 08700 40 50 60. I think we've got a good one here.
Then you wash it all out again and start all over again. It's very civilised.
Your programme is absolutely rubbish.
It's awful, isn't it? How long have you been listening this evening?
Since 10 o'clock last night.
I love that woman. 9 hours? I love that woman. She's so proud of the fact she's been listening for such a long time. Let's go back to line 3 where we have... I'm sorry, gentlemen, sir in Finsbury, I've missed your name. It's...
Mike.
Mike, okay. Mike, you're a historian and you're concerned because you said the one thing that keeps getting missed is Islam in history.
Yeah, well, it's repeatedly being missed out. It's almost as though, these historians, the people that write these books, they're afraid to reveal something.
No, that's not true.
Well, that's what I found anyway. It's almost. To me, it appears as though they're afraid to reveal something.
That's a poor judgment.
I mean, I've read. Now, because they keep avoiding the issue, I've looked into it further. Now, I've read the Constitution of the religion of Islam, and it's so rational. It's just unbelievable. I mean, arguably, it's better than the English legal system. In fact, many of the concepts that the English legal system have adopted. I'll give you one example. For instance,
but you're not a Muslim.
I'm not a Muslim at all, no. Right? Some of the concepts that they've adopted, the English legal system, they've been taken from Islam. One example I was going to say was...
Now, look, we're travelling too fast here. Let's detain ourselves for a second by examining your first and most important point.
Okay. Well, it's not my most important point. It's just one of my points.
Well, I think it's a good idea to make your most important point the first point you make.
Well, it's like I said, it wasn't my most important point.
What is your most important point?
The fact is that they... Why are they avoiding it, and why does it seem as though they're afraid to reveal...
That was your first point. You said it wasn't your most important point. Now you're saying it is your most important point. Is it your most...
it isn't my important... It's not my most important point. It's
what is your most
point?
What is your most important point?
My most important point...
Yes.
...is...
That...
Why are they afraid of such a rational religion?
Right, that was your first point.
No, that wasn't my first point.
You're not clear.
No, I am clear. You're just trying to twist
you're
my
not
words.
Coming up. No, you're not coming across clearly.
Okay, whatever you think was my most important point, right? What you have to say about it? Whichever one you think it is that was most important. Okay, you say my first point was most important.
I'm not going to react. I'm not going to answer a question until I understand it, and I'm not going to react to a point unless I understand it.
So what do you want to know? Okay, go on.
I want to know what your most important point is.
Okay, why is it that historians fear Islam? Okay?
Right. Okay. If you're going to ask that question, you have to substantiate.
Okay, I'm listening.
All right?
Okay.
And you haven't substantiated. So you can't ask a question which is based on a conclusion which nobody has yet reached. At least not in the course of this conversation.
This is my conclusion. I've been studying history like this is my third year now. And it's just something that...
Let me just say,
I think it's pretty strange. Don't you think it's strange?
No, I don't. No, I think it's perfect. No, I fully understand it.
You understand it, okay? That's
Yes,
as long
I
as
do.
you understand.
And I do fully understand the realm of intelligence
Right.
within which you are lost.
I'm lost.
Yes, but I am not. I am not.
Okay, you're not
So
lost.
I will lead you gently to the edge so that you can find your way again, and you will then be able to see more clearly
Okay.
from the edge of the maze. All right.
Okay. Whatever you say, right?
Absolutely. Whatever I say.
Right, okay.
Okay.
Now, back to my point.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Why
No.
is it-
No. Yeah. No. If I may. Okay. Which periods in history have you studied?
Which what?
Periods in history have you studied?
Which period?
Yes. Which periods?
I've studied,
Eras.
well, I've studied from,
Nobody studies it all. You can't.
Really?
There isn't time.
I have studied, yes, I have studied actually. I've studied history
Yes.
and law.
Which
Okay.
periods of history have you studied?
Well, I've studied the so-called Dark Ages.
So-called?
Yeah, so-called Dark Ages, because interestingly enough, the Dark Ages was when the religion of Islam ruled the majority of the world. And for some reason, I mean, they've labelled it the Dark Ages.
Where did you study?
Where did I study? LSE,
Whereabouts is that?
London School of Economics.
Which city again?
London School of Economics.
And which country is that in?
London School of Economics.
Yes, which country is that in?
Now, you figured it out, you got a brain.
Now answer the question.
Now, I asked the question as
The
well.
answer might be perfectly obvious to us all, but you still have to answer the question. You studied law, did you say?
Law and history.
You're in the dock. Which country is that in, sir?
Now, who are you to
The
put me in
judge, the judge would ask you to answer the question.
Forget about the judge, just talk about me and you here, right?
Well, I'm just trying
Yeah.
to combine your two expert areas, you know.
Look, you're going way off the point, right? The point
No,
is,
I'm
my
not way
point-
off the point. What do you think
You're
my
going-
point is? May I ask you, you're a clever person, what do you suppose my point is by getting you to remember whereabouts it was that you studied history?
Look, why are you just going off the point? Just listen to my one point, right? And tell me what you think. I'm on asking what you think.
No,
here, yeah?
I'm going to help you find out the answer to your question rather than tell you the answer to your question.
Oh my God, go on then. What are you going to do?
Well,
Go on.
I'm in the middle of it, but you don't seem to want to play.
Go on. No, I don't want to play any games. I'm not into playing games. I just want to make my point. And I want to know if any
I'm
other
not playing games
any
either.
other well, you just said you want to play.
Ah, yeah,
I
but
wanna play games.
you don't understand some of the nuances of the word play.
God, listen, yeah. I think you're a bit confused here, right?
No, I'm not confused at all, pal. You're the one who's confused. If you look, I'll cut to the chase on this one, right? If you have studied history and law,
Okay.
and you still don't know that history is written solely from the perspective of the home country, not just in terms of its content, but in terms of its bias, then you are.
Okay,
No,
no.
I will not give you a chance. I'm going to finish my sentence. All right?
Okay,
Because
finish
I'm
it,
allowed
go
to do that.
Go on, go on, hurry up.
I am here to tell you that you are the most incompetent history student I have ever taught.
You have ever taught?
Correct.
You have ever taught?
I have ever taught. It sounds the same any way you say it.
Well, you're full of it, mate. That's all I got to say to you. And let
I
me just get back to
certainly
my
am.
point. You really are full of it, yeah?
Yeah, yeah.
Right, and you're dodging the point. I see, once again...
What was the point I just made? What was the point I just made?
Look, even you yourself, you're avoiding the issue now.
What was the point I just
am.
made?
Here I am trying to make my point. The first point that you're on about.
Yes.
The one that you called, you know...
And I explained it for you.
Importantly. You haven't explained nothing. All you're doing is you're avoiding the issue, just like the history books of the world. I'm not talking about the history books of England itself. I'm talking about history books all over the place.
All right.
I've been to...
You've been to...
I've been to quite a few countries, yeah?
Which ones have you been to?
I've been to Afghanistan.
Good Lord, have you really?
Yes, I have.
Have you read
And
any of the... Yes, and you read some of the Afghanistan history books that they teach?
Afghanistan,
They teach
yes.
children in Afghanistan.
Yes, I have.
Have you really? And
Yep.
do they teach them all about the Roman invasion of England?
The Roman invasion of England?
Yes.
No, because...
No. Do they teach them all about Henry VIII and his 6 wives?
Well, Henry VIII?
No. Do they teach them all about Waterloo?
What-
No.
Well,
No.
listen,
Do they teach them about the Boer War? No.
Well, Afghanistan, right? There
Do you
are
see my-
more important things to worry about than Mr. King, Henry VIII and his 5th wives or whatever.
Now listen to me.
They've been fighting for 20 years. for
Listen
God's
to
sake.
me.
You think they're going to find the time?
Yeah, that's my
right,
point.
To teach about King Edward V.
He doesn't get it.
And his 6th wife or whatever. I know what your point is. Your point
Well,
is...
you tell me what my point is back at me.
Your point- your
Because that's
point
a
is-
really useful exercise in education. You
No,
tell me
listen,
back
right,
at me,
your
back at my point.
Your point is right that those countries don't teach the history of other countries, and what you're saying is this country wouldn't teach the history of other countries.
Well, hallelujah.
right? But I'm not talking about countries here. I'm talking about a religion. That's where you're confused.
I'm not confused.
You know, Islam isn't about a country. Islam isn't about Afghanistan or Bangladesh or
What
Spain
religions
or
are
whatever.
taught in English history?
In English history? Oh, yes, good point. But anyway, when I was at school, fifth year school, they taught us about IRA, they taught us about the Native American Indians. Now, the Native American Indian history, as far as, you know, the Americans taking the land from the Native Americans is concerned, spanned over for roughly about 60, 70 years, okay?
How old are you?
How old am I?
Yeah.
Why?
I usually find that people who understand the reason why I've asked that question reply why.
Why? Is it not important? Is that important how old I am?
It is.
It isn't.
It is.
I know you're very old, yeah? It's obvious, yeah?
How old am I?
You've got that attitude of old fogey, you know them old rotten people that rotting away.
You see, you've just lost yourself there.
No, I haven't lost myself at all. See, all you're trying to do is insult me, yeah? You're still avoiding the main issue, yeah?
When I was your age...
Right, what? Go on, tell me, I'm listening.
Can I tell you one of the cornerstones of Islam which I respect enormously? It is what they have to say about the elders.
True. I'm not Muslim though. Okay? So that wouldn't apply to me. Hello?
Do you not think sometimes it's a good idea to ask the views of those who might know more than you do, rather than try to berate them with views that they themselves, many years ago, recognised were infantile?
See, what it is, you might think you know more than me about this issue, but...
Listen, pal, I don't know...
I really don't think you do. I've looked so deep into it, I've even considered...
No, you haven't.
I've even considered changing my religion, following Islam, because it's
Yes,
a
of
way
course
life.
you have, and we smelt that right from the kick-off.
Right? No, but I'm not phoning just because I want, for that reason. I'm phoning because there might be other listeners out there that have realised the same thing. I'm sure. I've even spoken to.
Quite frankly, my son, you patronise and insult my listeners with the idea that you are the first to bring them the information that history is written not only from the perspective of the home nation, but crucially,
I'm talking about.
Can I finish a
of
sentence?
the world, not just England. Go on, I'm listening.
You're not a very good listener. Can I tell you that?
I'm listening. Go on. No, are you though? Are you?
No, I'm a very good listener.
No, you're always interrupting people on the radio.
That's because you're tedious and because you're wandering.
No, but you're just very abusive. That's all it is. Go on.
I haven't started, pal. I haven't started.
Well, neither have I, mate.
Well, I wish you would.
No, well, see, that's what I mean. It's not in my nature to insult people, over the radio.
You just insult people by ringing up and telling people that they didn't realise that the history of their country...
I'm not telling people anybody. This is my opinion. I'm not telling people anything at all. This is my opinion, and this is what I've realised.
Which
you're good at. You're good at
very good at
words
it.
around.
No, I'm very good at
trying... That's why you're on the radio.
I'm very good at trying to help people understand their own point of view.
No, I understand it very well. Go on, I'm listening. Go on.
Okay, you're listening.
I'm listening.
Oh, that's good. Well, can I just repeat to you what I told you is the reason for what you consider to be the oversight that you have noticed?
Right.
You'll find a great many oversights.
Okay, I have.
If you read history. Okay. You'll find a great deal that you disagree with. And that's extremely healthy, and that's valuable. And it's much more important than that people question the history that they're being taught than that they swallow it. When I was at school, I was taught that Germany was responsible for the First World War.
Okay.
And that it was right and proper for the British to take arms against them. And it was only later that I discovered that, quite frankly, all the major protagonists in that war were equally culpable for starting it.
I agree.
I had to learn that myself.
Oh, you learned that yourself, did you?
Yes. Don't get uppity now.
All right, I'm listening, go on.
All right, but don't get,
Okay, as long as you don't get uppity.
Don't spoil it,
I'm not spoiling, go on.
You did. You just got you couldn't resist it, could you? You had to be a little bit, I don't know, he's going on at me, he's talking sense, I hate that. I hate that. Somebody comes on, talks sense to me and talks sensibly and talks to me like a normal person. I hate it when they do that. They're so patronising,
You're
people.
talking sense, I'm listening. Go on, carry on. You're
Okay,
talking like
well,
a
you hang on there. You hang in there. Right. Now, what you'll also find, all right, is that it's good for you to notice some of the oversights in the history that you're taught. It's healthy.
Okay.
It's valuable. But don't make enemies with the information. Make friends with it. Use it. Persuade people. Not by confronting them, but by standing alongside them and putting your arm around them. Now, you care about Islam. You've discovered something that you care about. You found it yourself. You said you're not a Muslim yourself, but you gave it consideration. You've begun a long journey. But you will find no conclusions in your life. You'll only find staging posts. And you've reached one now.
No, the conclusion that I've reached is...
You will find no conclusion.
This religion...
You will... No, excuse me. Listen
you
to...
think you know...
Yes, I do. I know
I'm a different person to you, so you're not going to know whether I've reached any conclusions yet or not.
Let me tell you something. I mean, this stuff that I'm giving you is priceless. You couldn't pay for it. You will reach no conclusions in life. If you do, you are a fool. You will only reach staging posts.
See, no, that's where you're wrong, though, you see. See, you're a different person to me. How can you can't...
No,
You can't just say that to me. I'm not going to reach any conclusions in life. Maybe you haven't reached conclusions in life. For me and you're beautiful people.
Michael, I was you when I was your age. I thought like you. I cared like you. I had that arrogance of believing that I was the only one who understood and that everybody else was dumb and blind.
No, that's not... you might have been like that, yeah? I'm definitely not like that.
Well, you're certainly coming across like that, pal.
Okay, no, the only reason I've come across like that is because, you know, you've been trying to put me down kind of thing. And I've had to put up this fight, yeah?
Yeah.
Because I don't like people putting me down the way that you put people down over the radio.
Oh, it's not me, it's your father you're talking to now.
Who?
Your father.
See, now you're very insulting, yeah?
No, I'm not. I'm just saying. It's 100 years since Freud wrote Interpretations of Dreams. I happen to believe a lot of what he said.
Look, Freud's a fool, right?
Freud was a fool? Freud was right. Now, you remember one thing.
Him and his anal fixation.
You remember one thing throughout your life, my friend.
You know, he was just a
Freud was
penis envy
right.
and all that crap. What's all that shit?
Have you read any of his books?
Yes, I have, actually.
Which one?
I have. Free Association.
Well, read Interpretation of Dreams. It is not without good reason the biggest selling book of the 20th century. Now, I'm afraid you've got to go now. You've got a lot of work to do.
No, I haven't got no work to do.
You have got a lot of work to do, and I want you to have done that work before you report...
You're avoiding the issue as well, just like them books. Those books.
No, I'm not avoiding the issue.
It also appears to me that you're afraid of Islam as well.
I'm not. I love Islam. I am a Muslim. I am a follower of...
Do not insult the religion. Do not insult the religion. You are not a Muslim.
I'm a follower of Muslim light.
No, listen.
We're allowed to drink and go out with girls at weekends only.
Do not.
And you've got to go now. You've got to go now. I'll do what I like.
Well,
you've got to go now.
Yeah? I suggest you find yourself.
I've found myself a long time ago. You are a very, 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 very similar man to me when I was your age. I suppose you were a bit like that as well, weren't you, Ash?
It was like listening to me on the...
Isn't it funny when you see that going on?
Yeah. Dangerous, though.
Yeah.
Don't forget to subscribe and like. Comment too if you wish. Even slap your legs and make a purchase from Ann Summers. But don't do nothing.